Hi guys, Jason here. Down at Bury Golf Range in Suffolk, Ping G425 iron against the Mizuno JPX range. So after the 425 melee of videos that I did, I received a barrage of messages. Unfortunately, it wasn't in comment form. For some reason, direct messages, email and such like, which is fine, but obviously comments are a lot easier to reply to. Emails, generally speaking, I use for custom fitting and custom and coaching sessions. So, comments if you can. Anyway, so the vast majority of people, when they message me, wanted to know how these compare up against the Mizuno offerings. So, okay, we've got the JPX921 Hot Metal Pro, and the Forge. Now, the Hot Metal, I'm not quite certain, because being the beefiest one, that's possibly G710 against that one, but you guys wanted it, so I'm doing it. So, okay, let's go have a hit first, and then we'll do a quick 30-40 second shoot over to talk about the tech of what's involved in this thing, because there is a little bit of difference in the 425 over the 410. Main thing is the sound. For me, this sounds louder than the 410. The profile's smaller than the 410, so aesthetically it looks a lot nicer. It's still the satin that we've come to know and love now from Ping. You can definitely see it's a Ping. It's unmistakably Ping. You got the little cutout there, and it's unmistakably Ping shapes. But yeah, so the feeling this year, even though the looks are somewhat aesthetically more pleasing, the sound, I think, just sounds a little bit more, a little louder. That's not bad. So what, let's go have a quick 40-second chat about what is in this tech-wise.
So it's now a much more extreme perimeter weighting, from a tungsten screw and a hosel weight to expand the sweet spot of the iron. A speed generating face, variable thickness, Hyper 17-4 stainless steel face in a metal wood design to try and help off-center hits. Added stopping power from a patented cascading sole and top rail undercut combines to form essentially a hinge to increase flexing in the face. A now new streamlined look. It's now smaller in blade length than the G410, yet retains 3% higher MOI, and now has a 3-piece multi-material badge in the cavity that helps dampen undesirable frequencies.
So you can see there that necessarily not huge amounts of change from the 410, but incremental. They're trying to change little bits here and there to try and eke out an already very, very good iron in the 410. But the 425, it just sounds a little bit more explosive. I mean, I don't know if the camera's picking that up properly, but that is a definite, proper, yeah, clicky punch out there, which is distinctly different to what we're going to be testing next in the Hot Metal. The Hot Metal obviously is the chunkier one of the lot, so yeah, I mean, these are going well. They're going up very nicely. But as you can hear there, hopefully the microphone's not catching on my collar too much, but yeah, it's a distinctly higher pitch explosive crack. But right, let's go and have a quick look at the Hot Metal and see how that compares in looks and feels, and we'll do a bit of tech as well, and then we'll go hit some real performance premium ball data in my custom fitting studio, see how the performance compares. So, as if by magic, now got the Hot Metal. JPX921 Hot Metal. So, Mizuno's answer to the 919 replacement has offered slight differences in ball speeds and forgiveness across the face and stuff like that. So, again, as an incremental change. This is somewhat different to the 425, even though it's satin on its main face and that lot, so you don't glare and stuff. Has got bits of chrome around the back, and what I've noticed so far, and especially what other people have said as well when we come to custom fitting, that the places where they've got the chrome. So if you look down by the ball, necessarily the top line you can see is confidence inspiring, but it doesn't look massively thick. Reason being, because there's like a chrome bar across the back, and also when you look at the sole, there's a chrome bar across the sole as well at the back, so it makes it look smaller than it actually is. But yeah, same amount, or very, very similar amount of offset as the 425. But I don't know if that's being caught on camera though. That's a much softer sound. And this is the big chunky monkey from the Mizuno range. You don't get bigger chunk than the Hot Metal. This is as much confidence inspiring as you get. When it comes to 425, they've got for added real estate, you have the 710. It's in the darker colour though, the black, which does make it look a bit smaller, but yeah. But this is a distinctly different noise. It is nowhere near as punchy. And that's not saying that's not going up in the air. That's going up in the air well. Just as good, if not better, than the 425, just off by looking at the sky. But the feeling, and I don't know if the microphone is picking it up on the camera, but the feeling is very much so softer. When I say softer, this the sound, it's not so much of a higher pitch crack. I mean, down by the ball, necessarily, if you were to compare both of them, it's very difficult. You'd say that the 425 possibly has a fraction more visible offset. And obviously, Mizuno, not quite as Ping-like when it comes to the top line dropping away and stuff like that. And it hasn't got a massive, great big cut in the back. But let's go hit this one. It's nice, yeah, definitely softer, definitely feeling not quite as loud as the 425. So let's go whiz away, do a 40-second clip of just exactly what's inside this thing tech-wise.
Mizuno's third generation commodity face. Now up to 0.2mm thinner variable face thickness to try and promote better ball speeds for mishits. A new variable thickness sole design allows the leading edge to act as a hinge, resulting in greater face flex and ball speeds. Sounding much better than before, with increased number of harmonic impact ribs under the top rail, which help dampen any unwanted sounds. And also their new pearl brush finish, mixed with a little bit of chrome as well at the back, but not visible at address. And a redesigned stability frame for improved toe bias forgiveness.
There we go, so slight differences, not much. But from initial testing so far, this is exceptionally forgiving off the toe. Both of them are, to be fair. But this one just has it for the looks department. Even this is the chunkiest one of the lot. So, I mean, yeah. Out of both of them, plane going past. Don't you know I'm filming? Out of both of them so far for looks, oh, that's so subjective. You could go either way depending on what you want to see at the ball and on the rack and in the bag. But I would say for feeling, if you want softness, definitely at the moment, the JPX921 Hot Metal. I didn't book that right, did I? So, right, let's go in the custom fitting studio. Let's go get some real balls, some premium golf balls, not range balls, and let's go see how these two perform head against head. So now in the custom fitting studio, after hitting a load of shots, I've done it in the most fair way as I possibly can do. I've got all 4 clubs as such, and I'm swapping between all of them. So I'll hit 5 or 6 shots with one, swap over to another one, 5 or 6 shots, another one, swap another again, like that. So in the end, after a very long-winded session, you end up with a fair data set. Because if you're going to get tired, at least you get tired over the everything, rather than affecting one particular one. Anyway, so let's go quickly have a look at the G425 data first, and then we'll go compare it against the Hot Metal. So if we go ball data first, on average 122.9, launching 19.1, spinning 6,000. So basically, I think from memory, my previous review, I think it was spinning in the 5,000 something range, and again, that's just me being human, so I will change daily. Obviously, the important thing is that if you're going to do a compare, you do the compare on the same day. So if you're going to change, fair enough, but you change with both. Keep it simple, keep it nice and easily comparable. 37 yards in the air, which is very healthy, and 49 degrees descent angle. Obviously, this is at pro speed, and yes, we have the conversation about we should get a amateur to do it, but obviously, it's just, when it comes to any kind of these irons, it's just a level when you get custom fit. What is your most then functional iron? As soon as you go past a certain iron and it doesn't out-carry the next one, that's when you look at a hybrid. So whether that number stops at 4 iron, 3 iron, or 5 iron, or a 6 iron, yeah, you can still compare like for like. So 174 yards on average, a very, very kind number. There's some few different things in there, but let's go look at the one that's glaringly obvious in the spin column, probably 2/3 of the way down
3/5 the way down, probably, could be an exact, give or take. You look at the spin, 3.124, so it's averaging 6. On that shot alone, it's spun at 3. Now that's a concerning number, because we'll just have a look at that one first, and before we go into head speeds, etc. But look at that. That was struck 7mm high, 3mm toe, so it was slightly heavy, slightly high on the face. Path was very good, face was fractionally open, but it was still, yeah. My concerning thing on that one is the fact that it's dropped spin. The launch is at 19.7, so within reason, that's bang on the same launch as what it's doing for the rest of them. So that is doing very well. From the point of view of the face flexing correctly, it's doing exceptionally well. My concern would be the spin drop, because that is a miss strike, which you would, well, within reason expect to lose distance. But that's spun at 3,000, and that is going like a 3-wood flight. That is going like this. It's actually carried 6 yards further than the average. I'd be, not say concerned, if it was obviously a player's golf club, from my point of view, I'd be concerned, because I don't want something having that variability of spin. So let's go have a look at the head data, so we can have a look necessarily at how it stacks up. Club head speed 91.6, again, seems to be a trait with Ping irons and drivers. I can't quite seem to get the head speed up. When I use my normal effort, I'm not swinging anything faster, or not trying to swing harder or slower or anything. I'm just my normal effort, and I'm seeing slight differences. Now, whether that's because of head weight, etc., especially with the drivers, head heavy, even with counterbalance shafts, I do struggle to get the head speed up. Efficiency 1.34, down by 2.4 degrees, basically 0-0 when it comes to path and face, and 6mm toe, 1mm low. So within, that's not a lot. Hardly anything at all on average, and I do miss hit some. So let's quickly go to some miss hits before we look at one other one. They've got one here, 3mm low, 12mm heel. The 425, I have learned through testing so far, does not like low heel strikes. Toe strikes it loves, low heelers it hates. It is not very good off low heelers. Drops distance obviously, but also carves off to the right. Delivery 0.1, 0.9, so basically 0.0. You would expect that one to be fairly straight, 0.0. It's hit 3mm low, 12mm heel. It's dropped 6 yards, I think, on average, from average, which is not bad, but that's your average, remember. That's made up of the misses. So normal peak ones would be around about the 178, 179 mark, give or take. And then obviously you have drop off. So it's losing about 10 yards, but it's also carving off nearly by 10 yards as well because of the strike, even with the delivery of 0-0. You get that flight. So let's go have a look at the other one that it did. I got one 4mm low, 19mm toe. Very toey. Very toey. Very, very, very toey. Path and face 0.0. As you can imagine, you would expect that to go fairly straight with a middle strike. Hit off there. No, but it did. Look at that. 0.4 of a yard offline from that strike. The 425 is amazingly good off the toe. Does not like low heelers. Even from day one when I first tested it, I realised this does not like low heels. So again, remember this data set was collated by going so it's done over a long period of time, as with all the golf clubs, and that's the flight you get from that strike. Right, let's go flick over to the 921 Hot Metal and see how that one does. So ball data on there, 124.8 on the ball speed, 19.2 launch. So within reason, launching very, very, very similar to the 425, but it's spinning more. So 6,417 RPM of backspin. So basically within reason, it's 400 RPM, nearly 500 RPM more than the 425. And with that speed, that spin, it goes up 39 yards in the air. Wow, that's really, and that's on average, because on the last two data sets that I did with the 425 and also the JPX921 Hot Metal, I decided to hit it as high as I could. So within reason, to try and make sure strike's still there. I mean, obviously, the higher you try and hit something, the more lower strike you tend to see, but trying to get as hard as I could, still maintain the strike. 45 yards in the air when it comes to the Hot Metal, which is mental. 45 yards, what's that, 135 feet?
Wow. And if you look at the other one from the 425, that was averaging 37, but I got that one up at 43. So the Hot Metal beats it. Not by much, but it does beat it. And we are talking about tiny, small amounts. And bear in mind, the Hot Metal is 1 degree less. Let's go over to the club head speed of the Hot Metal and see what the difference is. 93.2. So I am gaining a fraction more when it comes to the Mizuno. When I say that it's Mizuno, it's not Mizuno. It seems to be generally every other manufacturer. I swing about 93 miles an hour with the 7i, unless the lengths of shaft are ridiculous, which they're not nowadays. They're all fairly standard. For some reason, the pings, I'm always a mile an hour, mile and a half off. We're heavy heads, I don't know. But efficiency 1.34, 1.7 down, 1 from the inside, 0.9 close, so very, very close to 0.0. 26.6 degrees of loft, so again, I'm delivering basically exactly the same loft now as the G425. 0 mil toe, 5 mil low. So let's go over to the compare screens now, where we've got the ball data and the club head data there. I would say one thing, just ignore the top right-hand corner when it comes to the physical strike screen. We are talking about the first one was 6 mil toe, 1 mil low, and the Hot Metal was, I think, 0 mil toe, 5 mil low. Unless the golf club's this big, yeah, that doesn't depict where it actually should be. Foresight, please fix that. But if you look at the club head data first, efficiencies are exactly the same, 1.34, 1.34. Club head speeds, yes, we've got a mile and a half or so mile an hour difference in between that. I've said that before. Dynamic loft, basic exactly the same, lies the same, face angle the same, paths basically the same, attack angles basically the same. So when you look at it like for like, you would say the Mizuno. Why? Obviously from the point of added height for performance. When it comes to dispersion rings, the ball speed's a slight jump, 2 mile an hour, but again remember there's a 1.6 mile an hour difference in head speed. So there would be the ball speed difference, nothing to do with the Mizuno is better from the point of view of face. Both launching exactly the same, 19 degrees. One's spinning more, which is mean obviously the Mizuno now going slightly higher and descending steeper. So that from my performance-wise, I'd be eking out, I'd be choosing that one because I want every single little bit of help I can get from the point of view of height and descent angle. Both carrying basically exactly the same distances. There is no difference. And you'd say between the red and the blue on the dispersion rings, I'd probably go blue because it's a smaller dispersion ring. That's it. They both go exactly as far. I would say that the front to back distances are exactly the same. It's just I was a little bit closer left and right. But that's it. Feel differences. I would go for the Hot Metal purely because I prefer a softer feeling golf club. If you guys want a bit more of a confidence inspiring, explosive hit, then by all means go for the G425 because that's what it gives you. But looks, again, that's subjective. Pick between yourself. I'm not going to necessarily say which one you should go for when it comes to looks because that's subjective and up to you. But if you were going to go for it, I would say performance. The Mizuno slightly edges it, but again, that's data you can see here. It's so small. I reckon if you did this test 10 times over, you'd get 10 different results on the day. Looks and feel, again, that's up to you. And to conclude, test both. There's so little in it. All depends on which one you like when it comes to the looks, if they both work for you. So, hope you liked the video. If you did, click the old like button below, that little one there, thank you. Next to it, little red button. If you can click that one, that's the subscribe button. That'll let you subscribe to the channel. And also when it comes to the bell icon next to it, if you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.